I'm sorry to put my big old face in here. I'm trying to figure out this software. There's supposed to be a timer on it that gives me like 3 to 5 to 10 seconds to get myself ready before it comes on, and I just can't figure it out. So I have to look at it real close to get it to work. Anyway, I jumped on this morning because I've had an interesting phenomenon happen over the last 5 days. I've been going through my home and land buying purchase, and it has everything to do with my dad, like everything. So, as I told you in some previous videos, I'm doing this by myself. I'm paying for this by myself. Everything, the down payment, the closing costs, the whole thing, paying for the mortgage by myself, all of that stuff. And my father's been kind of a spectator, just listening and giving his advice and, making sure that I'm thinking the right way about this purchase and making sure that I'm okay because I'm leaving the city, of Atlanta and I'm heading out to the country. And I promised to tell you in the previous video where I was going. I'm heading out to the country of Conyers. Yes. Conyers is about 35 minutes east of the city. And they are one of the last places of untapped land where you can get all the land you want and some pretty nice homes too at a price you would never get in the city because it's outside the city. But again, it's only half an hour away. And I'm fine with that. I mean, really, please. It's about the same distance from my job as no, it's about an additional 10 minutes added on to my commute to work as my current commute because I currently live in Buckhead and when there's lots of traffic and there are times when it takes me 15, 20 minutes from my door to the exit ramp depending on traffic patterns. So, to me it's the same difference. But you won't be able to get what I'm about to purchase anywhere in the boundary of Atlanta for the price that I'm getting it for, which, in another video I'll break down for you because I did promise I'll explain that process to you financially. So, my dad, uh, I am really just so thankful and so blessed to have my father still in my life. You just don't know, especially with all the things that my family has gone through, which I'm also going to tell you and share with you. I don't know if that's going to be a separate channel because that story is very complex, or if it would be with this channel. But I'm thinking about it. I might make it a separate channel because I'm actually in the middle of making a documentary about my dad and my mom because their story is so amazing. Okay, so what I'm experiencing as my dad's daughter is the value of having a man with honor in your life, a man whose word means something, a man who's shown love and compassion and empathy, who's done good works in his community, who just has a good solid heart. My dad has done so much for so many people that all he has to do is say the word and they show up to do whatever he wants and they don't even charge him. And in turn, they don't even charge his children. They don't. So let me tell you what's happened to me this week. Like three different things have happened with my plumber, my home inspector, and somebody else. My plumber, my home inspector, and an electrician. So as I'm in the process of purchasing this home, we're now in the due diligence period where I have a lot of inspectors coming in. I had a whole house inspector come in. I had an electrician come in, and I had a plumber come in. I had one more inspector to come in, which is a pool inspector. Now, people don't normally get all of these inspectors when they purchase a home. Normally, it's just a home inspector. He does a little general review and he looks at the roof and all this stuff, basement, crawl space. Excuse me. But woke up sneezing today, y'all. But this house that I'm getting, and by the way, I'm not getting the same house that you saw in my previous video. Those negotiations broke all the way down, and I'm still hurt about that. So, as an aside, I'm not getting the 12-acre land anymore. I'm getting one that's 9 acres, which is about down the road from the 12-acre one, which is a much better home and different qualities. I do have pictures for you. I have pictures and I have video, and I'm going to talk about that one. It takes me some time to get stuff together, because I'm doing so much. But so I'm on to the so it's a 9-acre property that I'm purchasing that has this beautiful home on it already. It's a 5-bedroom, 3.5 bath home, like a finished basement, 2 huge living rooms, the whole nine. Like the whole downstairs could be a separate living space for someone. The upstairs has 2 bedrooms, downstairs has 3 bedrooms and an office and a living exercise room, a washer dryer. Then there's all kinds of little nooks and crannies, and finished walls and floor. Like the whole thing is finished. And like I said in the previous video, you know, I'm not doing hardcore homesteading on this one because I'm buying a home already done. Normally people build their home, they live in a trailer, build a home. I've done that, but I'm not doing that this time. But I am going to build 2 additional structures on my property. I am going to actually build one from adobe and one from straw bale. But because I'm busy, I work, I do volunteer work, I have a business, I cannot do hardcore, live in a trailer, build my home from scratch. I'm just not doing that. Not to say that I will in the future again. So this home is finished. And as I said earlier, the home, I'm going to monetize my home like almost within a month of moving in. It has to be making money for me, not just from the endeavors on the land, growing fruits and vegetables and raising animals and growing and selling eggs, all of those things. But the house itself has to make money. And I told my real estate agent I want the downstairs to be finished. I don't want to have to do anything to this thing. I'm going to probably place it on Airbnb. I was going to make it a full-time rental, decided not to. It'll be an Airbnb because there's a pool in the back in the house, and people love pools with Airbnbs. There's like 3 different levels of gazebos and yards. It's fenced. Behind all of that are an additional 9 acres of land that just extend back to a stream and a creek. You have to cross the stream and the creek, which I did. I almost killed myself rolling down the bank, and then I crawled up the bank, got up and walked through the woods. And I was like, wow, I'm still on my property. And I'm walking until I reached the tip of the highway. So I'm in a rural area still, but not too far away from civilization. I have no neighbor on my left. There's just nothing but land to the highway. And then on my right, there's about 1/8 of a mile of space between me and my next neighbor. Okay. Love it. Nobody in front of me, nothing but just woods and the Yellow River. Okay. So that's the setup. So with a home like that, you have to have multiple inspectors, check for all kinds of things, flooding, electrical issues. Since there's a well, there's a well on the property, and the house used to be run on well water, but the current owners placed it on county water, and they detached the well. But I want to use that well and get it working again because when I create my 2-acre farm, 2 maybe 3 acres, I don't know, I need to have that well water to save on money, right? So we have that. And then the pool needs to be inspected. It looks really good. It's a year-round pool. And just all these things because the current owner is a builder. So he added on. He was doing his own homesteading. And he actually said to me that he was going to put animals out here. He made it so that it would be a compound for a farm. But they want to move farther up to the Blue Ridge Mountains, which I think is gorgeous up there. So he said he's leaving his home. And his wife doesn't want to leave. She's very upset because I could tell that her husband made this home for her with love. There's so many things in here that women love. Like, ladies, I'm going to show you this kitchen. Kitchen, it may not be anything to you all. It's something to me. It's something to me. It's really special to me. All the upgraded counters and stoves and all of those things. But when you walk into the pantry itself is a separate kitchen. Like, and the current owner actually said to me, and we've been talking, that the crock pot, she puts her crock pots, her soups, and all her toasting and toaster oven cooking in there. And sometimes she does some stir frying in there in that kitchen. And it's this huge pantry with built-in cabinets that the husband built for her. Then Then, you have another pantry, another side of the kitchen, molding, beautiful floors, hardwood floors, just made with love, upgraded appliances. She said, I don't want to leave my home. She said, I love my home. All right, fellas, and I'm not leaving you out. Then there's also a workshop behind the garage. So when you go into the garage, you walk up some steps. There used to be the old porch. And you open the door, and there's a workshop just with every possible tool you could possibly want. And because I'm handy, I was salivating. I'm like, I wonder if I could ask him to leave all these tools. But that's his livelihood. He probably won't. But I am going to ask what else can you leave. And then there's another workshop outside next to the house. And he has a little man cave in there. He has a television and stereo and a heater. I'm like, wow. And he had his circular saw, his table saw, and all a cement mixer outside the workshop. It was amazing. Like, I was just like, I'm so blessed. This is what I want. Then to the left of that is a chicken coop. A chicken coop with a chicken house and the gate, the fence is about 6 to 7 feet high. There's no covering, so there's lots of hawks and eagles out there. I'm gonna have to cover that top part because otherwise I'm gonna lose chickens. Chicken coop already ready, supplied with water and electricity. I am just tickled to death. And there's a shooting range on the property because he likes to shoot, right? And then you go past the shooting range, walk through the woods, and it's like you're just walking forever. So I'm never gonna leave when I get home. I'm never gonna leave my property, and my dog is gonna like it. Want to get some more dogs, and oh, I just can't wait. So all of this stuff is going on, right? I just explained to you what's in the house. So I need multiple inspectors to check this stuff out. It's almost a 50-year-old house. No, it was created in 1969. What does that make that? 79. Oh, well, almost 50, about almost going on into 40 years. And Jesus, my dog is hungry. Um, and there are cast iron pipes, right? And cast iron pipes, as everybody knows, in the old days, in the old school days, cast iron pipes rust from the inside out. So I had to check for that. And electrical wiring. I wanted to make sure that in this renovation that the husband did, the current owner did, there was nothing funky going on. So I have all this stuff going on because I'm about to make a huge investment, and I don't mind paying for inspectors on the front end. I only had to pay one inspector, and then only half of his price, and that was because of my dad. So when I called the plumber, I've met the plumber before because the plumber is actually a business partner with my dad in another business. And the plumber said, I called the plumber. I said, hey, Will, this is Kenya, and I'm buying a home with some land. I need you to come out there and check some of the pipes out and all this stuff. He said, oh, okay. And he sounded kind of strange on the phone. I figured he was distracted. It wasn't until I met Will that he said, I wish you would have told me you were the same Kenya. He's like, I got you confused with a different Kenya. You sound like another Kenya. He said, oh, I'm not charging you for this. I'm like, what? Because he quoted me like 150 on the phone, and I brought 150 in cash. He said, no, I'm not going to charge you for this. He said, I said, well, Will, that's your money. I mean, that's your time, and you driving all the way from Fairburn, and that's a lot of time and money, and I'm not trying to get anything for free. And I have the cash. He said, He said, let the men handle it. He said, I'll work it out with your dad. That's what he said. And I was like, oh, okay. Huh, okay. He said, yeah, I'll work it out with your dad. So now Will has an interesting backstory before I go on. I'm trying not to go off on all these side stories. I know the video's getting late, but I just have so much to say this morning. I'm really perky right now. And, Will is a former child soldier who was rescued by the United Nations peacekeepers. He has a very fascinating story. He did some horrible things as a child soldier that he's still dealing with. So he and my dad, who has a past with drug addiction and all the stuff that he did as a drug addict, have a mutual history of pain. And they kind of had like this father son relationship type thing because Will calls my dad his dad sometimes because his dad is still back in Nigeria. Is it Nigeria? I don't know. I remember. I'm actually going to interview Will, and I'll have him here on the show. I want to. It's not Nigeria. I should know that. It may be the Sudan, but I'm going to have him on the do a vlog with him and just talk about stuff just because I know it's not part of the topic, but I'm just going to because he's so fascinating to me. He came over here, got married, had buku's kids, and he's trying to raise his children to take over his business. All right, that said, Will looked at me and said, "Your dad and I will handle this. Let the men handle this." And he had that little tone in his voice, like stop trying to offer me money. So this man is giving me like a blessing. And I said, okay. And I backed away and I said, thank you. I really appreciate that. I thank you. Instead of being all proud, say, oh, I got this. I'm going to pay for it. Thank you. I appreciate it. Which I do because I don't have a bunch of money. Everything I'm spending is money that I've saved up, from different ventures. So he was there a good 2 hours checking everything for me. He was very thorough. And, we gave each other a hug. And at the end, I hugged his son. I said, thank you. He said, yeah. He said, you're going to have a barbecue? I said, oh, yeah, and you're invited. We talked about the things that I want to do. And in that conversation, he talked about what he knew how to do, that he knows how to kill deer and dress it and kill chickens. He said, are you going to raise chickens and goats? I said, I'm going to do a little bit of everything here. I said, don't worry. Anything you want is free. He said, I'm taking you up on that. And so anyway, long story short on that one, he was just impressed. But at the same time, he let me know that he was blessing me with just the gift of not charging me. But that came from the honor of my father. My father has he just has a good reputation amongst a variety of different types of people. And that honor they have given to him, they bestowed on his children. Second person was the electrician. Had the electrician come out and check out the electricity in the well, make sure the well could still work, and make sure the house was wired properly. And he should have charged me a good $250, $375 because that's what I was quoted. Until my dad said, "Oh no, use Bob over here." And so Bob showed up, and he was done. And I said, "Okay, Bob." I pulled out my purse, and I had my cash based on his quote. He said, "Your dad's a good man. Your dad's a good man." I'm like, really? And he put his hand to his heart, like, he's good people. He said, congratulations. If you ever need any work done in the future, make sure you call me. And he handed me his card. I was like, oh. And I'm going to put these men's businesses down in the subject heading here in the description box. So if you're ever in the Atlanta area, use these people. And then I did my inspection, the whole house inspection. And he quoted me like $400. And I pulled it out and he just gave me half. And he didn't even know my dad. He met my dad at a previous inspection for a property, but they're not friends or anything. But whatever my dad said and did, it had an impact on him. He said, no, just give me half, just cover gas and a little bit of time. I said, are you sure? He said, your dad's a good dude. That's what he said. That's what he said. He would only take half. And so I was like, I just sat there thinking, my word, my dad, like, character, his strength of his character, the strength of his word, it benefits me as his child being in his life. And I am now again reminded that no matter how independent I think I am, no matter how strong I think I am, no matter how financially together I think I am, my dad still thinks I'm his little girl, and he still has his protective covering over me to guide me. Even when he doesn't completely agree with what I'm doing, he's still there. And, as a single woman, I still need the protection of the men in my life, because all of those men in some form through my dad provided protection and provided financial protection by not charging me. And I didn't even expect that. Like, I did not expect that. I'm like, I'm going to pay you. And you're like, no, like, no. And I had to kind of process this some more, like what that means for me going forward. Because that felt very special this week. I always take my dad out to dinner, and periodically to kind of touch bases with him, see how he's going, where his head is. And so I'm definitely gonna take him out again this weekend just to say thank you. And he always chooses the most expensive places to eat. Houston's. What else does he like to go? I can't remember. It was called the Capitol Grill. For those of you who live in Atlanta, Capitol Grill is on Peachtree. That place is expensive as I don't know what. I took him out to dinner one day. I said, hey, Dad, I'm thinking about the dinner. He said, okay, yeah, I went to Capitol Grill. I had never gone there before, but as soon as we pulled up in the car and I saw the valet outside, I said, oh, Lord. And the valet was white with like a uniform. I was like, uh-oh, this is about to be pricey. We go up the elevator, and I totally feel underdressed. We sit down, and like one steak was like $75, the cheapest steak. He gets the most expensive steak. And I'm like, yes, my dad, I love him. Whatever you want, you got, you know. And so I'm gonna take my dinner again this weekend and see what happens. But I'm in awe of what that means, and like what relationships of honor mean for people. And I'm going to apply this to my life as a single woman. You know, what that means for me in terms of how I interact in this sort of male dominated area. Because whenever I call people to help, until my dad stepped in and said, oh, no, don't use him, use him. I was paying like huge amounts of money for stuff, like huge amounts, you know. And again, not being single, there's no husband there to say, oh, I know so and so, we go to the same church or we're in the same club or whatever men do with each other. So you're going to use him and you get that little hookup. I've always, as a single person, as a single female, paid like top notch prices, right? Unless the man has a crush on me, and then they lower their rate in the hopes that I'll go out with them. And they don't say that, but that's what it is. But for the most part, I'm just out there as a consumer, just paying money, hoping I'm not getting ripped off. And then when my dad realized what I was doing, he was like, no, you need to use the people that I send to you. I know these people, I vetted them, they do good work, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to rip you off. And it was more than just that. It's his honor flowed through them to me. That's what it was. And it was totally a male thing. It was about the understanding of men and how we're going to treat this woman who is here with you, who is a part of your family. And I can't control any of that, right? And it was a very humbling experience being a part of that. And, it has definitely made me think and appreciate all the men in my life that are there. Just wanted to say that in light, maybe I'm just rambling. I don't know. But in light of all the things that are going on right now, I just want you to know that I do see you out there. There are many good men out there still, and on various levels. And they're not all sexual harassers or abusers, or just good, solid dudes that are just out there doing their work and, you know, being men, being good men. So anyway, I just had to say that. And I look forward to what the next stage brings, because I know with what I'm about to go into, and there aren't many single women doing this. And if I'm told over and over again, number one, why would you buy all this land? And number two, why do you want to put a farm on it? Well, it's built for a farm, and I'm just going to take it to the next level. So I know I'm going to run into a lot more men because of that. I already am. If I quote out equipment and things like that, it's going to be very, very interesting. And I'm going to have lots of more stories to tell you all. And I hope you stick around. I hope you listen to the whole video. I try, I've found that in my YouTube statistics that the average watch time of a video of my videos is 3 minutes. That means somebody's tuning out after 2 or tuning out after 5 or whatever. And some people are going to the end. But so I try to keep my videos to 15 minutes, because 15 minutes is when, is the average video time. But I like to watch long videos if there's good content. I'll just watch all at the same time. I'll listen to it while I'm working or cleaning or something like that, or come back to it. But I do hope that the content is something that interests you, and I really encourage you to like it. Some people leave comments and don't like, or they like it and don't leave a comment. Please leave a like and leave a comment, anything, so I can know you're watching it. And then share it, subscribe. And I'm getting like one new subscriber every 4 or 5 days, which I'm fine with. I know some people are getting 40, but my content is different. Anyway, I appreciate you all out there who are leaving comments in the comment section. And I appreciate people who are following this journey. All right. All right. I'm done being talky. I have to go to the gym and I have to come back and go to work.